Hello, this is Paul from Foresight Tech. In this lecture, we're going to look at the parametric equations for plane curve, and this is not new. We learned from trigonometry before, so here is just a go over. First was the definition for the plane curve defined by parametric equation. Okay, is this: if we have two function continuous of the variable t, and then the set of ordered pairs. Okay, x is ft, right? gt. When t change this point, the pair of the number change. Okay, and then it definitely will get a graph. That's a curve. We call the parametric curve. Parametric curve. Okay, and we have another called the parametric equations, which means one equation is x equals ft. Another equation is y equals, the x coordinate is ft, right? Y coordinate for the point is gt. These two put together, we call the parametric equations. See, and these equations we can describe the plane curve, the curve in two-dimensional plane. And the t we call the parameter. I think you remember this, right? And I give you one example. So for example, if we have a circle, how to describe a circle? This is a curve in the plane, in the two-dimensional plane. How to describe? Okay, so you know how to describe in rectangular equation, right? In rectangular coordinate system, which means x squared plus y squared equals r squared, the standard equation. We put the center to the origin. However, how to describe this curve in parametric equation? How to do? We need to determine a parameter. Which one the parameter? The easiest is theta, right? The polar angle. This we usually call it the angle, right? If we describe an angle, then how to describe this point on the curve? X is r times cosine. Y coordinate is r times sine. Therefore, we have the parametric equation is here. This is very famous, right? Okay. And we have this from the beginning of trigonometry. And how about the theta? Theta belongs to 0 to 2 pi. Theta is the parameter, right? Our parameter theta is from 0 to 2 pi. And when theta equals 0, which is the starting point, the starting point is at here, right? Okay, starting point is at here. And then when theta goes to pi over 2, go to here. To pi goes to here. 3 pi over 2 goes to here, and the 2 pi goes back to the same point. See, and then we can define a direction. If we use the parametric equation, we do have a direction from the beginning to the end. Okay, if we use a rectangle equation, we do not have a direction, right? However, the same, they both describe what the curve looks like. And this curve or this curve is the same. It's just describe a circle, and the radius is r, right? Okay, and then the major one, we learned from trigonometry how to convert a curve from parametric equation to rectangular equation. Okay, so we have a kind of questions. We will not discuss it here, and here we'll only do one thing. So how to sketch the curve, which is defined by parametric equations. Okay, we use a graphing calculator, and later I have one example to show you how to do. The first step, we have basic 5 steps. First, set up a mode. So the mode we have a parameter. Okay, and the second step, set up the equation, which is the parametric equation. The third step, set up the window. So the window, so we can show all the graphs in your screen. The fourth step, we're going to click the graph. Okay, and then we will get a graph. Once we get a graph, we have to trace. Why? Because we don't know, the graph did not tell us what the direction. We need to trace to see what the beginning, what the end. Okay, and we go through 5 steps. And I take one example to show you. And if somebody learned trigonometry, you know this is famous, right? So we're talking about the cycloid curve. And here r equals 1. Okay, r equals 1. Do you remember what the cycloid equation? Okay, describe the curve for the point on circle, right? Okay, when the circle moves and the point will move. And here is a give you example. See, and if the parametric equation is already here, and the radius of the curve of the circle is 1, we set up 1 here. 1 times theta minus sin theta is x. 1 times 1 minus is y. Okay. I was not going to explain why we have this parametric equation. Okay. Suppose we already have the equation here. How do you get this graph? I already showed you the graph here. Why the graph looks like this? Okay. Okay. When the circle moves and the point on the circle goes in this way. From the bottom goes to the top and then goes down to the bottom. Okay. Why the graph looks like this? Now I will going to get my calculator and show you how to draw this graph from your calculator. Okay, we have 5 steps, right? Okay, now I will get my calculator. Can we see? And I use the Texas 83. If you have 84, no big difference. They are the same. Okay. Let me turn on my calculator. So the first step, what do we need to do? Set up the mode, right? Okay, so at the mode is here. Let me tune so you can see it clearly. Yes, good. Now it's easy to see. So which one? So we can see and go to the function. So use function as a parameter or the polar or the sequence. So we're going to here. Okay, so we find the parameter, and also make sure, because our questions, can we see our question, the variable is not a t, right? It's theta. Theta is a angle, so we have to use the angle. In our questions, the angle is use pi, right? Is what? It's radian. So we set up the angle in radian. It's already, the angle is not in degree, it's in radian. Okay, the setup is good. Now we're going to the second step. Set up the equation. So the equation is going to y equals. See, I already typed the equation. And the first equation is x. The second is y. And our calculator uses t as the parameter. So in our questions, and we use theta. Okay, we just change theta to t. Is no different. Okay, so is theta or t minus sine t. Y is 1 minus cosine t, right? T is just a theta. Now we already have set up the second step. The third step, we're going to set up the window. Window is here, click. Okay, how to set up a t, minimal t and the maximum t. T is here, 0 to 2 pi. So I set up a 0, here is 2 times pi, okay, it's the same. And what is the t steps? It means how many points you want to point. I will set up a 0.1 because it's 6, right? We call it like a 62 points. Okay, how to set up the x? Can we look at the x? Okay, we have the function for x, and the t or theta is belong 0 to 2 pi. We can find the minimum. Okay, the minimum is 0. At the beginning is 0. At the end is 2 pi. Okay, means x is from 0 to 2 pi. So minimum is 0. Maximum, I still set up 2 pi. 2 times pi. What the scale for x? I want to see the scale like 4 time points. Okay, so I was going to do, I use pi over 2. Okay, you can set up whatever the scale. What is the y? Now is the range for y. The same, we find that the minimum of y is 0. Okay, when theta equals 0, see y is 0. When theta equals 2 pi, okay, when theta equals 2 pi, when theta equals pi, when theta equals pi, this is -1, right? So that goes to 2. So we can find that y is from 0 to 2. So I set up y is from 0. The minimum y is 0, go down. The maximum y is 2. So I type it 2. The scale is okay. I just set 2 scales. That's all the setup. We go up. That's all the setup. Okay, for this. And the fourth step now is graph. So click the scale graph here. Can we see something? Okay, wait a little bit. Now you can see the graph is done. But the last step is trace to find the direction. How to trace? Right click here. Trace. Okay, we can see we go to the left. Go to X, Y. Can we see? Okay, good. So now go down. You find at the beginning t equals 0, x equals 0, right? Okay, and then go right. That means the starting point, you know the starting point is at the left. So you go right or go to the top. You see? Okay, go to this. Okay, and now t gets a bigger point. T is the parameter. Okay, that means from left to right we can see clearly. Left point is the starting, or probably will go down to the right point is the end. So we see the direction is from left to right. Okay, and if I go back, can you see this is the final graph? And that's what already draw the graph here. And we just trace, we find the starting point here. Okay, you can imagine the end point there. So we draw a graph. The highest point is there in the middle. Here is which is pi. This is the graph for the cycloid equations, parametric equations there. Okay, that's all. Thank you.